Okay, pal, you want smash mouth power and efficiency? Then here's your starting lineup. Ford F-Series, #1 for 37 years straight. Talk about a dynasty, baby. Hey, it's game time, sports fans, at the Bill Ford Tough Sales event.
And good evening from Legends Country Club in Stephenville, Texas. We'll be here for the next hour with food specials, door prizes, and of course surrounded by some of the best Tarleton Texan football fans around. Coach, welcome back. Congratulations on the big win over West Texas, your third consecutive win at Seton Hall.
That's 4 years in a row, you know.
Bad schedule or good schedule?
At least you get it out of the way early.
It was a matchup again of two of the top 25 teams in the nation in Tarleton season opener. Tarleton defeated the Buffaloes 31-27 for the second consecutive year. They're now 1-0 on the season. And I know, Coach, this is a very emotional win. You had Chance Wallace down on the field before the game. Miss Cheryl, of course, looking down from the heavens, and it must have felt good. And I kind of thought, I told everyone before the game, I think this is a game that Tarleton will win just because it's fate, destiny. I don't know if you believe in that.
You know, it's Sunday was Miss Cheryl's birthday too, so you know there was a lot of emotion. Didn't see Chance was huge. You know, I knew he was coming, and you know the trainers, coaches, everybody all day Saturday before the game had our Chance Strong shirts on, and you know what he means to us, and seeing his determination to fight to get better, you know, is vouched us all.
Let's take a look back at that exciting and emotional win for Tarleton against the arch rival Buffaloes, and we'll do that by listening to the plays of the game clip.
From the right hand, this is formation for Preston Rath. So take the handoff. Oh, it goes to the field. He is intercepted in the end zone. It is Mark Martinez, who was all over the intended receiver, Anthony Johnson, and the Texans down their first turnover of the season. Matthews in the pistol formation. It's a keeper off the right hand. Moving up for Matthews. He is five. Crawford attempted to Matthews. It's a touchdown. Tarleton now 6-0 on third down conversion. It's Dawson with the 9 yards. He'll take the handoff. Water straight in. That's a 5. That's the goal line. Colin straight in. Takes it to the house for 6. And Tarleton takes the lead. 3 wide receivers at the right back. Cody Berger, third down and 2 from the 10-yard line. They're heading off to Berger. Berger's at the inside. And the goal line is the end. Yes, he is. Cody Berger with back-to-back touchdown for the Texans. And they are retaking the lead here in the Seagull battle from Canyon. Here we go. Third down for the Buffaloes. Tarleton from the 10-yard line. Berger throwing another sack. And the 42-yard line. 3-12 and Texans all over Preston Rath. That's going to go from Canyon. Tarleton wins in West Texas for the first time in 10 years. And they sent a message to all the conference that they're 3-team ranking us for real.
Now the game started flat offensively, Coach. Both teams on their first 2 drives, all 4 of those drives went in with a punt. Then West Texas hit a 48-yard field goal. Eric Matthews threw an interception. West Texas drives to the 3-yard line. How big was that play where Mark Martinez intercepted the game? Intercepted the ball.
You know, it was a great play. You know, but it should have been intercepted the play before. You know, we had the same coverage, and they had an opportunity. I said, you know, we should have intercepted the play before, and I got in that situation. But it was a huge play. Mark's came up with huge plays for us throughout his career. And you remember last year, you know, coming in, Dustin Bond had yet to throw an interception, and Mark intercepted him there. We got the game turned a year ago. You know, Mark just makes great plays. And I had, you know, Mark for the first time is playing pain-free. You know, he's had, I think, 5 or 6 knee surgeries in the last 4 years, and he's such a rugged football player because he just keeps going. He don't miss any time, and you know, he's a great leader for us. And you know, look for guys like Mark Martinez that are great leaders to come up with those big plays in those situations.
So Martinez gets the interception. At that point, you make the decision to keep Eric Matthews in a quarterback. Was that an easy decision after you threw the pick?
I mean, Coach Cary does a great job, and you know, that's his show what he does over there and how he plays them, and I let him make those decisions. And you know, we feel comfortable with with Colin, we feel comfortable with Eric in the football game, and you know, you can't just pull a guy because he makes a mistake. That's one big thing that I have with our coaches is, you know, if we pull them out because they make a mistake, then we're going to create, you know, negative thoughts in their mind, and you know, we got to bounce back. You know, I'm going to make plenty of mistakes in the course of the game as a coach. We all are, and we just got to keep the eye on the one and keep going. And Eric came out and responded, and that's what good quarterbacks do and good football players do, is with short memory. And you know, we always got to give them an opportunity to let them understand that we believe in them as coaches.
Yeah, it's a great point. Obviously, that decision paid off as Matthews engineered a 4-play, 80-yard drive. It only took a minute and 4 seconds off the clock, and what an athletic
just stood up. I said, well, they really would have probably blown you up then. You know, at least he tried to get, dive into a role, but, he wanted to try to make something happen. And, we needed a spark there, and we were down, and to get that thing rolling in the right way, and it was a great play by him.
Unfortunately, he suffered a concussion on that electrifying play, and he would be out for the rest of the game. And it turns out that two-quarterback system, pretty good idea, huh?
And you have to. It allows those kids to play. And you see, as you've seen when Eric went down, when Cary came in, there was times that he would have ran the football, but he slid. Now he hates to slide, all right? And I'm still trying to figure out how they can hit when the guy slides for the penalties. But they did take a couple shots at him there that I wasn't going to happen with. And but he was, he has to protect himself a little bit with Eric being out. When both of those guys, and they know the other one's over there, it gives them a chance to play. And don't know somebody else can come in the game and play. And that's what they enjoy doing, those guys. I would say with those two quarterbacks, it's not the play as a defensive guy watching them. It's not the play that you worry about the call because they're going to be able to execute it. It's when it breaks down and what they can do with their feet. It makes it so dangerous offensively right now.
The score was tied at 10 at the half, and a lot of folks reading some of the newspaper clippings and listening to what Coach Nesbitt said, a lot of folks credit your staff for the adjustments you made in that. What were those adjustments that you thought you needed?
We're down 27-3.
27-3?
Yeah, that's exactly what I told you. We're down 27-3 right now. I thought we were off on them at halftime. Last year I encouraged them. This year I told them we're down 27-3 and we hadn't taken the fight to them. And I felt like we were just kind of, at that point, offensively, defensively, and kicking it. I just felt like we were trying to throw our way through. We got to turn this thing into a war. We got to go out there and take it to them. And I told you that we're down 27-3 and let's go do it. And that's where we approach the second half.
Give a lot of credit to Justin Cary on those play calls. We run it 31 times for 173 yards in the second half. Does that prove just how diverse this offense can be?
When we were able to run the football, we're able to run it, we can throw it, we can throw screens, we can do a lot of different things. But when they're not going to allow you to throw it, you can't sit back there and try to throw it. They were bringing a lot of different blitzes at us. They were double covering Nari, and they were rolling up, putting safety on the they were not going to let us throw the ball. That's why, you've seen Tyler catch the ball down the seam. You've seen Cliff catch one down the seam because they were working back outside. They weren't going to let us throw the football, and they were banging us off the line of scrimmage, and our receivers couldn't get a clean release. So, if they're going to defend us with 5 in the box, we'll let you have some Zach Hinshaw and Cody Berkshire.
They got some Zach Hinshaw and Cody Berkshire. You look at Hinshaw, he rushes for over 100 yards, 107. Berkshire, 44 yards for 2 touchdowns. I'm guessing the city of Wood Road is going to be pretty proud.
They were. It has to because we had, Jared Haynes also played a great football game at the defensive tackle position for us. But, it's just, you got 2 big backs that run downhill. I'm still excited about the other 2 with Glenn Roberts and Jabari Anderson trying to get those guys in the mix. And, Jabari was, there was a couple times that he may have had, but he had a heavy heart. He had lost his hand the day before that he was very, very close to. And, those kids have heavy hearts sometimes. You got to get them out there. And that's why we didn't see him as much because he didn't miss a couple days of practice in that situation.
So you take the lead 31-27 there in the fourth quarter after 2 Berkshire touchdown runs, 1 from 10, 1 from 13. I thought Damian Ward got a huge sack, 3rd and 8, and forced the Buffaloes to pump with 5-11 left in the game. That probably, obviously, the biggest defensive stop of the ball.
Yeah, it was. We had that situation that, when you're playing a team that has a great receiver, you can't get in a situation that you like those guys that are man-to-man winning outside all the time with Armstrong. He's a great player. He's caught for over 100 yards and almost 1,800 or 1,900 yards in just, 2.5 years, not even 2.5 yet. He's a great football player. So you just have to kind of pick your poison when you can bring the pressure. And at that point, we doubled the A gaps, brought the blitz and the B gaps, and he kind of stepped outside, and Damian was out there to make the play. And it was a huge play, we just were trying to get him out of field goal range at that point, is what we were looking for. And I didn't know if they were going to kick the field goal at that point, down 4, or would they try to go for it? We had to try to get them behind the chains and force them in a major decision.
And there's still 5 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game. You get the ball back. How about that drive? 11 plays, 81 yards. You take all the time off the clock, and really the textbook definition of a signature drive.
It was unbelievable. You take on the 5-yard line. Because anybody in that situation, and you look at what West Texas had to do, you got 3 timeouts left, 5 minutes to go in the game. Let's try to pin them back, force them to punt, get the ball back at midfield and try to win the football game, and then kick it. We get the ball on the 5-yard line, and we just take it. I mean, it was, we come out, the very first play of that series, we kind of missed a block there. Fowler makes a great play, gets out of the end zone, could have been a disaster as a safety. He gets out of trouble, makes a throw to the sideline, and only Bell Tandy can catch, and he makes an NFL catch, getting both feet down on the sideline, got us out of trouble, and then came back and hit a couple strings to Bo, and they got us out to midfield, and then, then we just lined down and ran the ball the rest of the time, man. And, I don't know that I've ever seen it. I don't know how many people have seen that in your life, but take the ball from the 5-yard line with 5 minutes to score and drive it down, make them beat up all 3 timeouts, and then at the end of the game, there was nothing that they could do. Just had a minute to go, and just get it out. I mean, that's unheard of. That was an unbelievable. But you can't give the credit. Our offensive line.
Yeah.
They dominated the football game.
They don't get enough credit.
Those guys, they do it in our house. Those suckers, they dominated the football game. They forced their will on their defensive line, and if you watch the film, they quit. Those guys made the defensive line in West Texas, they made it quit. It was an unbelievable performance for our offensive line. And, I couldn't be proud of a better group. That they love Tarleton. They're great leaders. They're great kids. They're just an unbelievable group to have around.
What can you say about Colin Strahan in his first career start? He sets the school record for rushing yards by a quarterback with 124 in the air, 16 to 22, 123 yards. A real gutsy performance.
It is. He's tough. He's a tough player. And I wanted, Colin to play. He's kind of battled with injuries the last couple of years. And, he was the guy that I recruited that I felt like gave us a chance to win a national championship. He played for Rodney Webb and Steve Horn is in the Hall of Fame here at Tarleton. And, Colin was getting ready to go visit Valdosta State. And, anytime, he had Louisiana Tech that was on him, and then, was going to go visit Valdosta. And, I talked him out of it to stay, and you're the guy we need, and to get him to come over here and play, and get to see the things that we've known that he could do for a long, long time.
Strahan became only the second quarterback in school history to rush and pass for over 100 yards in the same game. He joins Jimmy Herring, who did it twice, 91-92, Shelby Wright, who did it 78. I don't know any of those people. Some of you here probably do. And today, Colin Strahan named the Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Week. I think Colin's over here on my left.
Yeah, he's done it.
Colin, you're right. Congratulations.
You're probably not going to be all conference in this league because the coach is going on it. They don't like your coach. Don't look to be all conference. You're try to win a championship.
You're not well liked around the conference. You're well liked here. That makes you feel better. Now, I talked to Colin after the game. He told us on the radio he didn't care about the stats, doesn't care about only thing he cares about is the team got to win.
We win, that's it.
And that is a huge win. The first win for this football team in Canyon in over 10 years. And I know we probably beaten that one a little bit too much, but it's a tough place to go play. They had at least 12,000, 13,000 people.
It's a very tough place. They do a great job out there. And Buffalo, Thunder, that was a pregame speech. Just make sure you don't get run over by Buffalo.
That Buffalo almost got loose. I'm telling you, I got 5 handlers trying to hold that thing.
That's why I'm letting it go, run around, and we'll take the field. Just don't get run over by the Buffalo. That was the only thing I was scared of out there.
One quick note, Coach, on penalties. We talked about it after the game. Your team only commits 4 penalties. 2 years ago, in Canyon, penalties hurt you, and the Buffaloes really shot themselves on 4 times.
They did, and there was a couple there. After looking at the film, I can see where they called the one on Chase, but I also see on the other end the ball's fumbled, and he don't know if that ball's going to spit out the other end. What a great job that he did. And they called it, and then they called it face mask. I don't, I guess shoulder pads and face mask, but that's what he grabbed him. The guy threw him to the ground. Those were changing plays. That's what I tell them all the time. I'm with Mike Leach right now. Mike Leach made a comment the other day that until we force officials to have to come to the press conference at the end of the game, and they don't have to answer to that, they maybe be called in automatically. And we got to hold those guys accountable also, because that hurt our football team. And it frustrates kids. Like Varnado will do anything. And he played an unbelievable football game. And that frustrates the kids, and that puts a doubt in their mind. And I hurt from each other, because there's times that we're going to get penalties that they need to be called. But I heard from he played a great football game in a lot of places for us also. Our kids are very disciplined. We got a great coaching staff. staff, our coaching staff, they're disciplined. They teach you to be disciplined. I can't say enough about it. We have the greatest coaching staff in the country, period. And I love working with them, being around them on a day-to-day basis, and they do a great job of coaching our young men.
With the 31-27 win over West Texas, the Tarleton Texans improved to 1-0 on the year, winning their third consecutive season opener against your ranked opponent. When we return in 1 minute, it's time for our Lone Star Conference and National Spotlight, when the Coach Cary Fowler radio show continues right after this. And welcome back to Legends Country Club in Stephenville, Texas, the Coach Cary Fowler radio show. We're going to be here until 7 o'clock. We've got 7 door prizes to give away later in the show, so if you're listening, come out to Legends. We'll have more prizes later in the show. And of course, we've got to talk Tarleton football. Exciting week it was for Tarleton Texan football. Remember, you can tweet the show if you're listening on 90.5 FM KTRL. If you're listening online at TarletonSports.com, you can send us a tweet at Tarleton Sports, #Fowler Show, at Tarleton Sports, #Fowler Show, and we will answer some of your Twitter questions later in the show. Time now for our Lone Star Conference and National Spotlight. Coach, we will start by talking about the games around the Lone Star Conference this past week. We won't talk about all of them, we'll talk about a few of them. The first game, Angelo State at home defeats Western State 38-6. Their first game, Coach, in LaGrange Stadium. I know as a head coach, you got to be excited to move that stadium on campus.
Well, it's exciting for everybody in the league. Anytime that you get an opportunity to have your home field, it's just like when we got to the game, and when you're playing at a high school stadium or an ISD stadium, you got the band practicing, but they have to be out there because they don't get opportunity to use it because all the high schools, we went through that when we were in Washington. Everybody's got to use it. Now they have their home field. It's a home field. As we start progressing, teams in all our conference make that move. It only restricts our conference with having our own facilities.
Texas A&M Commerce goes out to East Texas. They fall to Division I Stephen F. Austin 38-17. And 1 year from now, I know you're not even thinking about that, but you'll be in Nacogdoches. Playing Stephen F. Austin.
It's an exciting day.
Adams State University goes to Eastern New Mexico, and Eastern New Mexico wins 42-14. We have Colorado Mesa traveling down to Kingsville. Kingsville will win 17-14. That ended a 9-game Catalina losing streak. Most Catalinas not used to 9-game losing streaks.
No, you need it. If you're looking at and watching what's happening across the country right now, you better watch out for the Javelinas because they beat a good Mesa team. The week before, they were in the game to the very end against Humboldt State, who beat Mizzou Pacific, who's the top 25 team this week, and beat Grand Valley State a week ago, who's the top 10 team. So, Kingsville has played 2 great teams and had a chance to beat Humboldt State. And we should be looking at the top 25 in the next week or two. That was a huge win for them, and that shows how good those guys really be down there.
Good for Coach Galloway and his staff, because that's a tough place to coach. The expectations are so high to get there.
Well, they don't understand, what's happening, that Humboldt, they were upset with that, and then all of a sudden they go beat, Mizzou Pacific in the top 25 team, so that really opens their eyes. I think they're doing a great job doing it.
Midwestern State over Missouri S&T 40-23 in Wichita Falls. The Mustangs fell down early, 14-0, with a 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but they would fight all the way back. And they've got a 2-quarterback system. I know you're not worried about the Mustangs right now, but I saw they're using a guy, William Coward, and then of course Jake Love. So you're not the only quarterback.
Me and Coach Cary, when we were at Midwestern, we used a 2-quarterback system, with 6 different quarterbacks over the years, and that's something that they're used to, and Coach Master's done it, many times.
Mustangs now 1-0, Missouri S&T 0-2, Kingsville's 1-1, Eastern New Mexico's 2-0, Angelo State is at 1-0, and Texas A&M Commerce with 1 win and 1 loss. Let's take a look at that new Top 25 poll, the American Football Coaches Association Top 25 poll. Your Tarleton, Texas moved from number 16 to number 12 in the nation. You move up 4 spots, and when you look at that poll, Coach, there was number 12 loss, number 13 loss, number 15 loss, 8 teams in the top 25 loss. Does that prove just how insignificant these polls are every year?
Yeah, they are, because you got to find out who somebody's really playing. You can see a team that may be undefeated, but they haven't played a team that's won a game. And that those are the cases. It all shake out in the end. With the type of schedules that we have, that's seeing Indianapolis get beat. Now that was a surprising one. They got beat by an NA high school, which they're a team that has always held that 6th spot in our region. And for them to lose to an NAI team, even though that won't count, you can bet
State enters the bowl at number 23. They're the only other Lone Star Conference team in that bowl. West Texas A&M falls out. Is Eastern New Mexico the team maybe being sliding in this bowl? 2-0, and they're usually 13 votes.
Yeah, well, that's still quite a bit of votes for them. Looking at some of those teams across the country that are in there, I mean, that's a big move. I think they had a couple votes last week, so there's a lot of coaches. For them to get 13 votes, there's a lot of coaches that voted for them in the top 25. You received 1 point for being 25, so there were a lot of coaches that voted for them.
It's tough to crack it the first time, too. I found that out in any school. Once you crack it, then you get the name recognition. So Eastern New Mexico with 13 total votes. Heading into this week, if you look at the schedule in the conference, there are 4 games, maybe 5 games in the conference this week. 4 of them at AT&T Stadium. We'll talk about the Lone Star Conference Football Festival coming up. Anybody here going to Arlington this weekend? All right. We'll talk about Tarleton and Florida Tech coming up. You got Shorter at 2-0 on the North South taking on West Texas A&M. That is a 1 o'clock kickoff. You have Florida Tech and Tarleton at 5 o'clock. You have McMurray that is 1-0 taking on Angelo State in San Angelo. And how did San Angelo State guys going on? Anybody figure that out?
I know, but I'm not going to talk about it.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Everyone knows we're good enough at doing that already. You've got Eastern New Mexico in the nightcap at 2-0 taking on Midwestern State, the number 23 team of the nation. The Mustangs 1-0, and this really the game of the week in the conference. 2 conference teams battling. Should be a fun football game, and I imagine a lot of running will go on in that game.
Well, when you look at the stats, Eastern Mexico has thrown for a lot of yards, and they've opened it up a little bit, and they've obviously tried to throw the ball down the field once too.
So those are the 4 games, maybe 5 games. I'll get this right eventually around the Lone Star Conference. I think I skipped the first game on Saturday, folks. It's so early in the morning, I just skipped it. It's a 10 a.m. kickoff at AT&T Stadium between Texas A&M Kingsville and Texas A&M Commerce, and that should be an interesting game to watch because you got to see how Commerce responds after the SFA loss, and Kingsville, a talented team. That should be fun.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Our guys will be fine. They're like, hey, we get sleep in a couple hours. They'll be
like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we'd be excited about the 10 o'clock days, and we get a couple extra hours. It wouldn't matter to us.
That's got to be a little strange to play football game at 10 o'clock, but I guess at the Division I level, you do it quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, we actually, I remember having to play those, if we had a TV game when I was in college, especially when we were playing in the Eastern time zone, we had to fire it up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and those were...
If it's a TV game and they say you're playing at 6 a.m. on ESPN, you just do it.
You have to.
That's our Lone Star Conference and National Spotlight. We'll take a 1-minute break. When we return, it's time for our Tarleton Athletic Spotlight. As head volleyball coach Mary Schimmer will join the broadcast. This is the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas Ford Dealer. And welcome back to the Coach Cary Fowler Radio Show. And I remind you, coming up in our next segment, Coach Fowler will answer questions from the crowd. He will also answer questions from Twitter. You can tweet us at Tarleton Sports, #Fowler Show. You can send in your question at Tarleton Sports, #Fowler Show. Time now for our Tarleton Athletic Spotlight. Our next speaker, folks, in her 10th season as the head volleyball coach at Tarleton, she's won 164 career games. She was the coach of the year in the conference in 2008. She's led her team to 7 postseason appearances. Let's give a big welcome to head volleyball coach Mary Schimmer.
I certainly do not.
Okay.
But my assistant coach does.
Okay, Jesse has one. Okay. Coach Fowler has a Twitter. Why did you get Coach Schimmer?
I haven't made it that far yet.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get you there. Let's talk a little bit about your team, Coach. You're picked to finish 5th out of 9th in the Lone Star Conference. We'll talk about where you are in a minute. But does that provide those preseason goals? If you picked up top, you don't care. But in the middle, that provides some motivation.
I think so. I mean, regardless, I think that we're highly motivated, a lot of internal things going on. But I know when the girls saw the preseason goals, they were a little, they had a little extra.
I don't blame them, and it shows because you've come out. If you haven't followed Texas A&M volleyball this year, you need to. 8-1 start, the best start since 2010. Coach, did you expect to start that good? I mean, I know I talked to you, your office is across from you, and I said, hey, what do you think going into the first round? Did you think 8-1?
I think that our team we've gotten better, and that's the objective. And I think that we had 5 newcomers, so I was a little concerned about how we meshed together in a short preseason. But I think we kind of started well. That's been what's hindered us in the past few years is that we play a lot of regional competition early, and you've got to play well, and you've got to beat those regional teams.
Now, you talk about those 5 newcomers. I was in the press box at West Texas A&M, folks. Kim from Memorial Stadium. They're not, no offense, Coach Fowler, they're not asking me about Tarleton football. They're not asking me, no offense, Colin, about calling straight in before the game. They're asking me about Haley Roberts. So you're a freshman outside here. 149 kills, 15 aces through 9 games. What did you find, Haley Robinson? Can you find a few more? I mean, what a player, Coach.
And she's not bad.
Yeah.
She's not bad. That's why I keep telling you, she's so good. She's not bad. No, she's great. And she's got a great work ethic, and she comes from an incredible high school team, but really her club team has a very high level, and that's what she's used to. And she's a little bit of business, but she also she loves the game. So I'm excited about it.
Last week, she was named the Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Week. And have you ever heard of a true freshman in the first week winning that award?
I haven't had one in their first week. I've had a couple freshmen that by the end of the season were players of the week. And, that's a lot has to do with her team. And she was an up to, I think. She's got a couple other freshman setters that have really delivered her a great ball. And another 2 or 3 seniors behind her that have kept us in system and given her a lot of ball control. And a lot of things to follow.
Sure. And of course, that setter is so important. And Chandler Down, brother plays on the Tarleton football team. Chandler's got 160 assists. And is that a typical to have a freshman center?
I have 2 freshman centers, and so that's where my concern was. Emily Medley, and they're both doing a great job. They've played almost every match when they were available to play. And they're smart and they're competitive, and they have a lot of composure on the floor. And you don't see that from a freshman. All 3 of them do. And they're all in big roles. So I'm excited about what they're capable of doing when they really feel the position out.
Talk about a few of those returners. 3-time All-Star Conference selection. Katie Cavell switches from an outside hitter and becomes a libero. If you don't know what a libero is, explain that to us, Coach.
She doesn't get the hit. She's a defensive specialist, and she wears the color jersey. And for her, it's about she was a tremendous outsider, obviously. An all-conference player every year, and she's explosive and she's fun to watch in that role. But what we needed was something different. I've got 2 outsiders, and Caitlin and Amy. They turn their ball really well, and finding something that Katie would be good at, and she is a leader. And, she knows our system, and she knows what I want on defense. And it's almost a refreshing thing for her, I think, to be in the libero spot. She gets to learn stuff and grow and still, and she's done a good job.
How uncommon is that, though, for a 5th-year player with as much success as she's had to switch positions? A lot of times they say they get unhappy or they leave. That says a lot about Katie, doesn't it?
It does. And I was asked, when did you make this switch? Well, the day before our first tournament, I told her, look, this is what we're going to do. It's the first day we work on it in practice. And it worked out. And like I said, looking at her personality and how she could contribute best and how, our team could fit together. And right now, I told our team, I think that as young as we are, as different players we have coming in, I think that that could change through the season, but I think that she's just really embraced the libero role and done a great job.
Awesome. Now, Kenya Alexander, anytime she walks in the room, everyone knows who Kenya is. She's a 6'4" middle blocker. You might have seen her at the Texas Club watching, and definitely an athletic middle blocker in the middle. And she's only played 4 years of organized volleyball.
Yes, and that is, there's just such a upside with her. She really gets better every day, whether it be in practice or a match. It's fun because right now she's excited. She had a couple weeks where she was I can do this, she was working exceptionally hard and wants to be there for her team, and she wants to do what I'm asking, and some of it wasn't clicking, and it did. And so it's been fun to have her get it and be a big force out there, not just intimidating when she walks in the gym.
Now, when you played Texas A&M Commerce in the conference opener, home opener last Tuesday, I had a meeting in Anchorage. I could not guess. I looked down at my watch, I get out of my meeting at 8:10, and I say, I'm going straight to the gym all day. Probably get there in the middle of the second set. I get to Wisdom Gym.
You also thought you were going to lose with Texas.
Well, I was trying to provide you some motivation. We won't go there. So, you kind of threw me a curveball there. I'm going to miss on it. So I get to the gym, it's packed, full of people. If you came to Texas to watch that game against Texas A&M Commerce, I'd never seen a crowd like that. And on top of that, the game was over by the time I got there.
Right.
What an atmosphere.
It was incredible. In the last few years, I feel like the crowds have grown and they've been more consistent, and it's been fun. And you try to prepare, especially freshman ball, our new kids for that, because you never know how they're going to respond. Our first conference match, but also in that kind of environment. And it was impressive to have that kind of crowd. And then, I actually came off, and I was nervous because we played so many matches in a short time. And we've been milking a lot of kids that, that are seniors, that are juniors, even our freshmen, that are taking a lot of these swings for us. And, we were a little fatigued. And once you have that atmosphere, it doesn't matter.
There can't be a better volleyball atmosphere in the Lone Star Conference.
There's not.
One of the reasons the Fly Boys are here today, Fly Boys, thanks for coming. We appreciate all that they do. I know over there. I don't think they're on the Texas A&M Fowler volleyball Christmas card list after that game. I think
Not on any. I go to the conference meetings every year, and you are the top. And they love playing on gym.
It's definitely a fun place. We've only got about a minute. A quick note on this week. You've got Texas women's tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Both these home games on Friday. You've got Texas women in Kingsville. That's a 6 o'clock match. Two very quality opponents.
Absolutely, and there's not a bad team right now in our conference. And you look at where everybody's ranked, where they're picked, and I don't think it matters.
Even if there was one, it would come.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But these two teams are both, they up and down a little bit, but they're going to be good. You see them on film and they're scared. So.
Folks, our head volleyball coach, Mary Schindler, make sure you get out to the volleyball game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So, look at the home game. We were ready to the radio show. It's time for questions from the crowd. This is the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas Ford Dealer Show, live from Legends Country Club in Stephenville. Time now for our fourth segment, where Coach and I can pretty much do whatever we want. But before we do that, Coach, we've got some Tarleton athletic gear to give away. We've got some gift baskets from the Tarleton Parents Association. So when I say your name, if you'll come on down and coach, we say it every week. This is the largest crowd we've ever had, but I mean it. This time I'm being truthful. It's not close. Yeah, they shout it around. Unbelievable. Thanks everyone for being here. And if you're listening and you're not here, come out next week. Food and have a drink, and we've got Tarleton gear to give away. We'll start with Brandon Butler. Brandon, come on down. Where you at, Brandon? Does so much for us here at Tarleton. Hey, great job. Last night too, so pretty good at that. We got Wayne Snyder. Who's Wayne Snyder? Anybody know? Wayne Snyder. Where is Wayne? Brian, here you go. You're gonna have this. I'm gonna sit there. I'm multi-tasking here. And our final winner is Gary Peter. Dr. Peter, good morning. Congratulations to Brandon, Dwayne. Where are you shooting here?
That light hat that you have, your boxing hat, I love you too.
Just got back, by the way, from Europe, him and Ben. So they're probably still jet lagged. I'm a little hard lagged. You're probably less lagged. West Texas trip. Hey, one thing we need to talk about in that win, that 31-27 win over West Texas. How about great bars? Isaac Ray Arnold, of course, is one of the best partners in the country. He's heard Blake comes in and does a fantastic job.
That's all three, and I told Blake at the end of the game, like he said, we didn't have no kick in there. And I said, so you gotta tell me they don't have a kick in there because they gotta provide a kick in there. And we're taking West Texas is there on our side, but he did all three. He never punted before. And and we have some young guys who can run the football. I just trust Blake so much, I knew he may give up a little bit of yards, he may not, but I know he's going to catch it. I know he's going to kick it. He's calm under pressure. And I just trust him so much. And, did a great job. And that's a lot to ask from a kid. To kick off, to punt, and to kick extra points and field goals. And it's just unbelievable job and what that young. And he didn't have a kick in it. He didn't lose it. And I said, what did you do? He said, I just stretched over there all the time.
Next time you can go know that in advance. They probably won't bother you. But one thing we haven't talked about is the addition of Mason Miller to the staff from McMurray. He's the head coach there last year. He knows the air raid offense probably better than anyone. What's he brought with him?
He brought a lot. I tell you what, his working relationship with Justin is so good. Justin has learned the air raid game. He's got such a background in the one-back run game that we had, way back when he was an opportunity player, Clay Thomas. I would say we got to work with guys who go back there for the Atlanta Falcons now. And him and Mason bringing the things that we learned from Coach Mummy. And there's a lot of different things that we've added. Our run game and a lot of different things we've added. There's so many things that our receivers line. But it's the most amazing thing with our staff is this. It's the working relationships that we have. We're able to work together. There's no egos in it. And a lot of times in the coaching business, you get guys that are egos, and if they don't get their way, they foul. Our guys just keep working together. We're working for a common goal to give these kids the best game plan to be successful on the football field. And this staff does that, and that's what makes them special.
Time now for our Ask the Coach segment. We'll start with a question From Twitter, remember, if you want to tweet this show next week, @Tarleton Sports, #Fowler Show. Andrew Henson, fire away, my friend.
Yeah, hey, Frederick, Coach Fowler, what can the Cowboys do to help pump up the team this year?
You know, when we get home, what I love to get Cloud Boys to do is run through that tunnel first. You know, the first time that we did, I told the Cloud Boys I want y'all to run through. How many of you guys ran through the first time? All right? They didn't realize that that thing opens up and they had their hats. It was like everyone flew off right on top of it. That's a break. When you guys run through that, we love what you guys bring to the table. You're so loud. You guys are always there. I wish that we could get you down on the field to bring us in, at the stadium. But I got the Fort Hood guys will be there this week.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be awesome. But every time we're at home, I want you guys to run us through that tunnel because that's an intimidating thing and that's special for us to get behind you guys and take that field. We appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Question from the crowd, Andrew.
Yeah, Miss Emily was a freshman at Tarleton.
Hi, now that we're 12th in the nation, will that change your coaching strategies for Saturday?
No, because we're playing a team there that's 2-0 right now, out of Florida, and anytime you play the Gulf South Conference, who's won more national championships than anybody. You go back and look at some of the things that they did, a year ago. They scored 28 points against, North Alabama, 31 points against Delta State. They're a new program. They brought them up. We got to be ready to go. They got one of ours as our offensive line coach. Guy by the name of Chad Green, who played here, was our offensive line coach for a semester with the Utah. We know that they're going to be very physical and athletic. It'll be a war. And anytime that you get an opportunity to play on the biggest stage in football, period, no matter what level you're at, I told you guys, we're going to the big house, you got to put a show on now. That's you got to show up, and I know that they're excited about playing us. And anytime you get that Florida-Texas rivalry, we're trying to fight who produces the most college football players and NFL players, and there's a lot of pride, state pride running on this game. So our kids will have to show up because they're the best football game that we have win.
I think I know the answer to this one, but Easton Jones wants to ask you could go to one team right now, who would it be?
Right now, Florida Tech. They're on that schedule. I'm excited about Florida Tech, because anytime our kids can play a team out of the Gulf South, it's just like playing the SEC. The SEC has dominated college football in Division I level. If you look at the 1AA level, you look at Georgia Southern and Appalachian State, and most of the teams that are probably from the South, if they won more national championships. The Gulf South has won almost 4 more national championships over the Lone Star Conference. So anytime that we can play a team from that conference, our kids need to compete against some of the best players in the country. And I look forward. I love playing the teams from the Gulf South.
Yeah, I was looking it up. I think the Gulf South's won 10 national championships.
I
know that that's 2 years ago.
There's a lot of them there, and
A little SEC.
that's what they call themselves. We got to find out and figure out a way to win. Lone Star Conference hasn't won a national championship since 1980, when Southwest Texas and Jim Watkins was the head coach down there. It's the last time that the Lone Star Conference has won a national championship.
Question from the crowd.
Yeah, Brian, a freshman Plowboy recruit.
First off, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
My question is, how do you plan to go on away from the first week's win? How do you plan to get guys prepared for Florida Tech?
That's a great question because a lot of times when you have an emotional win that you have to go against a rivalry game, it's tough to get those guys back. That's why the schedule lined up perfect for us to play number one of the team out of the Gulf South because they're excited about that opportunity to understand we got beat last year by 2 games out of the Gulf South with North Alabama and Delta State. But playing it in the Cowboy Stadium is that brings the atmosphere to us. And you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, you can see my Twitter. I call it the Texan Festival because when you're there, it's no doubt that it's our festival because we have 2 to 1 of the Texan fans and our alumni there over everybody else, and our kids are so excited to play in front of that great big Tarleton crowd and to hear how loud that they are. We look at it as a home field advantage for us. We'll have to get them prepared. But I think that playing on that big stage really prepares us mentally to go and perform at a high level.
Jerry Jones is texting me, says, Coach, it's AT&T Stadium.
AT&T?
So I think we just got to
Oh, one says, I guess you can say that.
Thanks to they won yesterday. How about the Marco Murray? It's a flex that I bring up.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, we're talking. You didn't watch any games yesterday?
Yeah, I watched Tarleton State versus West Texas, and then I watched Florida Tech, play Stetson University.
Speaking of Florida Tech, we return in 1 minute. We will preview that matchup from AT&T Stadium. This is the Coach Cary Fowler Radio Show on the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas Sports League. The Coach Cary Fowler Radio Show. Time now to preview this week's matchup in week number 2 of the regular season between the Tarleton Texans and the Panthers of Florida Tech University. Florida Tech coming off a win over Maria NAI School 42-6. And Coach Steve Engelhardt, the head coach there at the Panthers, he's been there 4 years. This is their second year technically to have a team on the field, and really done a nice job.
They've done a great job. They're in the hotbed of recruiting there. Right there on the East Coast of Florida, and they can recruit a lot of players. And they've done a good job. And bringing football back or adding football, and the way they just didn't jump into it. They're able to recruit, redshirt freshmen and raise their own. And the thing that they've done is they've strengthened in some really good transfers in there to give them some veteranship there and some older guys and mixed in with their first recruiting class. And they had some special athletes in a lot of different positions.
You look at Coach Engelhardt, he's the offensive coordinator of Indiana State for a few years, his alma mater. That's kind of a leap of faith as a coach to go from a Division I offensive coordinator to build a new program.
Yeah, I left Murray State as a co-defensive coordinator to be a full-time coordinator at Division II level. It's the quality of football. And knowing that you don't play in the Gulf South Conference, they can play with anybody, whether you win or play or not. And plus, when you're in Indiana and Kentucky, China, and a football player, there's not a lot of football players in that area in a basketball-dominated state. So, it made it a lot easier for him to get down there and the hot level recruiting in Florida.
Last year, the Panthers went 5-7 overall, 1-5 in the Gulf South Conference, their inaugural season. Now, that's a tough task for your first year to play in that conference.
It's really tough, and they did a good job. Early on, I think West Alabama got a good good, but then they just kept getting better, and they played with some guys, and there was some places that they kind of flexed their muscles on, but North Alabama flexed their muscles on us too last year. They were a great team, and they got better and better each week, and they got some playmakers in a lot of different positions in the secondary and wide receiver core, and they've done a really good job of getting that team to control. Mr. Gassian's most guys have gone down really for the team, so that's all that's going to come.
We'll talk about a few of those key personnel later in this segment. You look at their schedule this year. Florida Tech opens the season in Division I Stetson. They win easily 54-12. And I know that Stetson's not exactly a mecca of Division I football, but still, that's an impressive way to 54-12.
At their place in the range, and that was, and they did a good job. They took it to them, and they play in that Pioneer League. There's some good teams in that Pioneer League, which is that one that they plays in. And Stetson's in the lane for them. They also have the same area down there that they did, and that was an impressive game. It's got a huge football.
Week number 2, they face NAIA Maria. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. A team they lost to last year by 4 points, but this year they went 42-6. They held their first 2 opponents under 300 yards of offense. Their defense is pretty sound.
They did a really good job. And last week, if you look at the play-by-play, they did a good job of forcing turnovers and got them in the short field. Some of their drives, 25 yards, 38 yards. So they were getting turnovers in the short field, and their offense was capitalizing and scoring in those situations and putting the game out of hand early.
Now, speaking of 2 quarterback systems, we talked a lot about that today. The Panthers they're going to use 3 quarterbacks. Primarily, it'll be redshirt freshman Mark Cato leading the way with 7 touchdown passes and 1 interception. And Masco is time under center. So really 2 guys you got to key on. What do you know about the first guy, Cato?
He's a redshirt freshman. They do a good job of giving him limited throws, and he's got really good receivers. Number 4, number 1 are guys that I really look at. I don't ever know many names before or after.
Oh, yeah, those are number really, right?
That's right. And but they do a great job. They catch it. He throws a really good throw for them. And that's where most of his passing yards comes from. Is they do a good job running the football and play action passing, and they throw the ball, and that young kid does a great job of throwing that football. The other kid was at Georgia Southern, and system has been able to run that option. And then, Willie Fritz from Sam Houston is over at the Southern right now, so they're not running the option that they have in the past. That kid is, running the offense. They're going to base everything off the run. They set everything up off the run, and then they try to put the ball off the play action pass.
Defensively, what kind of scheme have you seen before? Is that
They bring a lot of different blitzes to they'll be in a 3-man front, they'll walk the linebackers up in the gaps, and they'll bring, they bring a lot of different blitzes. They'll put some pressure on the quarterback, trying to confuse our blocking schemes and get us outnumbered in certain areas and try to hit the quarterback. And, so, we definitely compare these, a little bit, kind of similar to West Texas. They're more of a 3 stack, they're more of a 3-4 defense than West Texas. But they do, they play, man blitzes, zone blitzes, but they do a good job of bringing a lot of different looks.
7 Florida Tech players named in USA College football preseason list in July. You talked about one of them, number 1, Xavier Hilton, wide receiver. Then you got Gabe Hughes, Ramsey Sellers, Justin Arcune, Skylar Sheffield. It's kind of rare to see a program in the second year has 7 preseason All-Americans.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, us when we were young, we didn't have that many All-Americans, but we raised those kids in 2010, 2011, 2012, and that's what we've been able to do. Those guys have played a lot of football early in their careers, which is making better in the back end.
Now they're going to have to come 1,173 miles from Melbourne, Florida, Arlington, Texas. Is that play a factor at all that long? I mean, you made a long trip to North Alabama, and that play a factor for you?
Yeah, they got a little bit different. They're going to pitch a good bird out here, and they'll fly in
2 hour flight.
And I was seeing on the Monsoul Conference, Walt Disney Stadium, they had the first ball for them like 1 o'clock, so they'll land early and be able to, go to practice in the stadium and be able to get some rest for the 5 o'clock game. So, their arrival time and the way they're working, they're just going to be able to get out here and get them adjusted.
We're playing again at AT&T Stadium. We'll talk about the ticket information later, but AT&T Stadium by far the grandest stage in the world to play football in. And your team, though, your guys, your 44 returners, they've been there once. They're not going to have a lot of butterflies, are they?
They'll be excited to play. They always have. We play 2 really good games. Lost to Hartford Avenue, and they won a great game against a national Western team a year ago. So our kids are used to being in that situation, and they're just they're excited about it. We love playing in this stuff. And the biggest thing is I love the stadium. I love playing at AT&T Stadium, but the biggest thing I think is the Tarleton kids today. And I can't say enough about that. That is one of the most unbelievable atmospheres in the way that our alumni and our students and fans come to support us in that festival is unbelievable.
It's Tarleton and Florida Tech. 5 o'clock kickoff from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. You can catch the National Farmhouse pregame show at 4:30. We'll have the Coach Cary Fowler pregame interviews, starting lineups, and much more. If you're at the stadium, you want to listen to the pregame show and the play-by-play, you can download the Tarleton Mobile Sports app at the iTunes and Android stores by searching Tarleton Athletics. You can listen to the broadcast right here on the Tarleton Sports Network on our flagship station, KTRL 90.5 FM in Stephenville, Weatherford, Granbury, and Fort Worth. You can listen online at tarletonsports.com/listen live. As far as ticket information, folks, you can purchase your tickets up until Thursday at the Tarleton ticket office at 254-968-1832 or in the lobby of Wisdom Gym. Coach, I walked by the ticket office today and there's about 8 people students buying tickets. That's a good sign. 18,000 Tarleton fans there last year, 20,000 fans there 2 years ago. Remember, Tarleton State's going to host a free Texan Alley tailgate. If you haven't heard about the Texan Alley tailgate, it's going to be from 1 to 4 at the Coca-Cola Pavilion, located at 1,000 Wall Parkway in Arlington. You can park for free there in Lot B. You can bring your cookers. They bought out the catering. You can cook out from 1 to 4 o'clock. And I think Coach Fowler's going to try to stop by and make an appearance as well to kind of motivate the crowd. How fun is that as a college football game? I get a little jealous sometimes. I love calling games. Coaching, calling games, you don't get to go tailgate.
I don't know if I tailgated very much. I think I was pretty good.
I know a few coaches that do, but they're not very successful. The Mike Stanley Band will perform for free. They'll have free games, free parking. Make sure you visit tarleton.edu/tailgate 2014 for more information. That is tarleton.edu/tailgate 2014. Texas A&M all night at Wisdom Gym, 7 o'clock. First start there for Coach Denver's squad. Friday night against Texas A&M Kingsville. That's a 6 o'clock match. Now they're going to have a promo at the game Friday night. They're going to throw a horseshoe across the court, and you're going to try to hit the ringer. And if you hit the ringer, I don't think it's going to be very far. You're going to get a $100 gift card to start off. So I ain't a bad deal. If you're a horseshoe player, come to the game Friday night. You'll get a $100 Visa card. They're also going to give away at tomorrow night's game 2 tickets to the Randy Rogers concert this Friday night. So Randy Rogers tickets, horseshoe giveaway. Most importantly, the Texas A&M senior support at 8-1. Head coach Lance Reddick and his group of young team of Texans got the fall tennis season underway at the Abilene Christian Invitational Tournament this past weekend. For complete results, check TarletonSports.com. Texan golf opened the season today, and I think they were up by 9 strokes last time I checked. You know, 9 strokes for Coach Noel. You know, it's not.
It's up to this Friday night.
You'll see him go, they're sitting up 16 or just above 17. If I'm up 9 strokes in the game of golf, I'm a happy camper. Tarleton fans, you can keep up to date with the mobile sports app. We talked about that. Tarleton Athletics in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Once again, we want to thank Texas Bank and Cross Timbers Orthopedics for sponsoring the Coach Cary Fowler Radio Show. A big thanks to Legends Country Club for hosting the show, and to the staff here at the Lookout Bar and Grill. We appreciate what you do. A big thanks to our special guest tonight, head volleyball coach Mary Schindler, and of course the Woods Furniture who provided Coach and I a beautiful table and chair set up here on the stage. I want to thank Tyrone Dotson back at the KTRO studio for producing tonight's broadcast. And most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and for your support of Tarleton Athletics. I almost forgot to give away our last door prizes for our live audience. Jan Johnson, come on down. Coach, if you'll give Jan that t-shirt. Our second winner is a blank. So I don't know if Kristen wins or not. We're going to throw that one over. Carissa Sandoval, come on down. Where's Carissa? There we go. Carissa, you get a t-shirt there. Compliments of Tarleton Athletics. Congratulations. Our final winner gets a gift basket. Coach, compliments of the Tarleton Parents Association. Sam Pusey. Sam Pusey, come on down.
One of your classes right there, that would be a nice hat when something off their class, wouldn't it?
It's like a Beverly Hills 902 or Stevensville 76402. Coach, a quick update on Eric Matthews, his injury. Will we see him on Saturday?
Hopefully, we got to go through the concussion and how dear that is to me, with Zach, and he'll have to go through, but he's on target right now. He had his day one of, and he'll work through it. If everything goes well, the target they could possibly practice on Friday. There's a good chance that, and hopefully we'll be able to see him on Saturday.
It's only about, 8 miles up to AT&T Stadium from Stateville, but you still have to overnight it.
It's a Lone Star Conference rule. When we set this tournament up and we discuss some love, then we all come up there and stay because it's all the hotels and I think it's the taxes and things.
You got to come here. Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck against Florida State this week.
Appreciate it.
That'll do it for this second edition of the Coach Cary Fowler Radio Show. I'm Casey Logan saying so long from Legends Country Club in Stevensville. Until next time, have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk to you on Saturday night.
Under center, offset I formation. They'll stack it on the right side with the tight end Parker. It's intercepted at the 35-yard line. He's going to take it all the way into the end zone. It is Desmond Jackson.
Picking it up, Carter. 3-on-1 for Tarleton. Domstra, Lee, Carter, right-handed slam. That's going to do it. The Tarleton Texans are back on the throne of the Lone Star Conference Tournament.
This is the Tarleton Sports Network.